sex, lies, and celebrity.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
The definition of marriage in Hollywood is just different.
There's so much cheating in Hollywood, it makes these stars look like a different breed.
I don't really see the point in denying something that you desire.
But are the people different? Or is it the job that drives them to cheat?
It's almost impossible to be real in Hollywood.
Or are they using juicy sex scandals as publicity?
Ratings go up when we watch this.
We'll go undercover with two private eyes for the real dirt on cheating in Hollywood. Cheating celebrities are nothing new. Back in the day, Liz Taylor dove into an affair with Eddie Fisher before cheating on him with Richard Burton. Sienna Miller was the other woman for Balthazar Getty in 2008. Cheating is just part of the Hollywood machine. If you want to catch a cheat in Hollywood, there are two guys you want on your side. Private investigators Danno Hanks and Paul Baresi. Right now, they're planning to tempt a married man with a tactic known as a honey trap.
We already know this guy's regular watering hole. There's no question about it. He's going in there to get laid. But what I'm concerned about is this chick, Shannon. Is she up for that job?
She hasn't done it before.
That's what I'm worried about.
You know, whether the subject is male or female, there's always a particular type of person that they're attracted to. You put that person in a position where if they were going to cheat, this is who they would cheat with.
Hanks and Baresi's company Backstreet Investigations specializes in cheating, infidelity, and sexual deviation cases involving stars. More than 30 years of investigating celebrity sex scandal has taught this team one thing.
Behind closed doors, they're completely different. Most of them, they're philanderers, they cheat on their wives, they are homosexuals. Not that there's anything wrong with being homosexual, but these things could hurt their image.
Hanks and Baresi are the stuff movies are made of. They each have a sordid past, making them the perfect fit for digging through the dark underbelly of Hollywood.
On my third trip to prison, I got out and I saw an ad in the paper. It said, "Wanted private investigator, no experience necessary, will train." And he basically said, "You're hired," on the it takes one to know one basis.
Danno joined forces with PI Fred Vallis and perfected his craft working with the DEA and FBI on high-profile cases.
About 3 years ago, my partner Fred Vallis passed away, and I needed somebody that could fill that void.
All right, Danno and me are going to go in, we'll get a fix on where the subject is.
Okay.
And I'll give you a call.
All right.
All right?
Sounds good.
You're up for it?
Yes, I am.
That's my girl.
Okay.
Baresi built a reputation as the go-to guy for sex scandals long before he hooked up with Hanks, thanks to his early start in Hollywood.
Years ago, I aspired to be an actor, and I actually did some mainstream film. I worked with Raquel Welch in a movie. On that film, the art director of Playgirl was there, and he asked if I would be interested in posing nude in Playgirl. Well, little did I know that waylaid me into a side career in the adult entertainment industry.
Those ties gave Baresi access to a unique network of informants for investigating celebrity sex scandals.
I found that I could get indoors in that world that no other person could get inside.
I have no idea how he does it. I know that when I want to find out something about a specific celebrity, I can put Paul on it, and within a day he calls back and says, "This is what's going on."
Private investigators Paul Baresi and Danno Hanks have a job to do: tempt a married man and see if he'll cheat. They're being paid to test fidelity with a maneuver called the honey trap.
We'll check them out for a few days before to see how they normally interact with the rest of the patrons in a bar.
Okay, our subject is seated in the center of the room.
Then when we know when that person's night out is on, we'll put them under surveillance and follow them to that location. And then we have our girl come in a couple of minutes later when we've got that person's location in frame on a hidden camera. We've just videotaped the action.
When that woman happens to be on a scale from 1 to 10, the 10 is kind of hard to pass up. How many people can really turn it down if they have it right there?
If they're going to respond positively to the bait that's set in front of them, we just reel them on in. And if they're not, we also know the answer.
On the record, I believe I'm the only former adult entertainer, a term licensed private investigator. And had I not been in that world, I would not have been as successful in this particular arena.
Baresi brought with him a history of celebrity clients he ushered through sex scandals built while working for one of Hollywood's most notorious PIs.
Anthony Pellicano, he represented Michael Jackson back in '93 on Jackson's first child molestation problem, Michael Jackson's cooks from France. They alleged they had seen Michael Jackson molesting Macaulay Culkin.
Jackson's lawyers hired Baresi to disprove the allegations. Baresi taped 2 different interviews with the cooks and found success.
The second interview, they embellished upon what they told me originally. I brought these inconsistencies to Tony Pellicano. He said, "You discredited these French cooks. This will help my client."
As Pellicano's notoriety built, so did Baresi's.
There was a situation involving Sylvester Stallone where he got himself into a bind, and I'm not at liberty to really get into the specifics of that. When Eddie Murphy got into trouble with those transsexuals, I knew exactly where to go. I went to the biggest transsexual porn star there was, and she knew everyone.
Within 10 days, Baresi rounded up all accusers to sign sworn videotape affidavits saying it wasn't Murphy, with the exception of one, Addison Suley, the pre-op transsexual cops found in Murphy's car in 1997.
Often celebrities are so spoiled and they enjoy the best of life on a day-to-day basis. So what did they do for excitement? How many chocolate mousse pies can you eat in the course of a meal? They have to go find something else.
Coming up next, high-tech gadgets to catch a cheat. And later, some actors will stop at nothing to get the truth.
A lot of celebrities would use him, and they didn't want to know what techniques he used.
So if you think you're being cheated on and you don't want to find out about it watching a press conference, it's time to find a good PI.
I have used private investigators at the request of my clients to find out if their spouse was cheating.
Whether you are a celebrity or an average Joe, if you choose to engage in illicit behavior, somebody's going to find out. I mean, whether or not, if you're cheating on your wife and she hires a private investigator, it's going to get out there.
Now, the first thing I want to do is find out things about you in California.
In his home office of Backstreet Investigations, Danno Hanks has every computer tool imaginable at his disposal to do in-depth investigation.
The blend is that Danno mans the computer. He goes through the various databases on the computer and he acquires information that way. And I hit the streets and I acquire information that way.
I don't know that you were born in California or not, but we'll look for fictitious business names, maybe marriages. And I'm allowed to see full Social Security numbers. I'm allowed to get full driver's license numbers, dates of birth. And those things allow you to get a picture of someone's lifestyle.
You pick up raw intelligence on the street, you bring it in, he runs it through the database to corroborate that raw intelligence.
But not everybody plays by the rules.
I've had a lot of people that have come to me over the years and saying, yeah, can you get me some of these phone records? No, I can't get some of these phone records, it's illegal. Can you tap this phone? No, I can't tap that phone, it's illegal. They seem to think that just because you're a private investigator, you can do a lot of things that by law you can't do.
The legal and PI community were shaken when the most high-profile investigator in Hollywood, Anthony Pellicano, was arrested.
Anthony Pellicano, he got famous, and so a lot of celebrities would use him. One celebrity would hire him to look into another celebrity, and they didn't want to know what techniques he used.
Pellicano's mistake, I think, was boasting about what his methodology was to the attorney and then keeping record of it, keeping the tapes. And so he got bagged for illegal wiretapping.
The straw that broke the camel's back was that he made a death threat on a newspaper reporter.
When I worked for Tony, I had no idea about any of his illegal activities. I always went by the book. Nothing that ever rose to the level of criminal. I mean, I might have walked a little fine line here and there.
We have all learned as a result of the convictions in the Pelicano case that as lawyers and as private investigators, that we have to be very mindful of the law and very careful. We all were given a little bit of a spray of cold water to make sure that we as lawyers knew what the investigators were doing, as opposed to saying, I don't need to know, because we do.
When Hanks and Baresi use surveillance technology, they do it legitimately.
When I use a bag cam or a briefcase cam, I have to be close enough to pick up the audio, and that depends on the legality of where you are. If you're in a public place, if anybody can overhear the conversation, then you don't have an expectation of privacy. Sometimes I'll shoot video for my client to look at, but it doesn't get entered into court because of maybe legal concerns about whether it's admissible or not. It just lets the client know that their beliefs are confirmed, and that's it.
Celebrity cheats get caught in the act.
Are you buying a phone?
Right behind him.
Hollywood PIs Danno Hanks and Paul Baresi are hired regularly by celebrities, and there are no shortage of clients.
Celebrities, they generally get themselves in trouble, cheating on their wives, having some sexual proclivity that goes against the moral grain. Hi,
hello.
I'm Paul and Dan.
Hi.
There are a lot of celebrities that rather enjoy different tastes from different fountains because they can, just because they are a celebrity.
When a client calls, it's usually with a long list of suspicions.
Yeah? Karen, I'm going to go talk with these gentlemen. Can you go in your room for a little bit? Okay. Okay. I've noticed that he's been coming home more and more late at night. In addition, when I call him, he'll say he'll be at the office. For example, one night I went to go surprise him with some dinner, and he wasn't at his office.
And when it comes to suspected cheats, celebrities are regular clients. They have the cash to hire private investigators and a lot at stake.
It's kind of preventative maintenance. They would rather find out about it first than to see it in the tabloids. That's the number one reason. Very rarely does it actually have anything to do with them feeling hurt because they, you know, their significant other cheated on them.
I want to definitely get down to the bottom of this.
Yeah, we can get started right away. Okay, Paul, I got a view on the front of the house. I see a primary's car in the driveway.
Okay, you're ready.
Today, they're working a two-man, two-car investigation to stay under the subject's radar.
You don't want a guy to pull out of his driveway or whatever location he's at and see this guy pull out almost directly behind him. So you have a spotter that stays in a location, doesn't pull out at all when the person leaves. He gives the guy a heads up on the radio that his target vehicle is leaving now and he's going to be heading west or whatever. Then that person takes the lead, but he picks him up a block or two away from where he left. So he just looks like he's pulling into traffic.
You got him?
I'm on it.
When that person has followed him for several blocks, then they drop off and the primary vehicle comes in and picks him up. And they switch off on a regular basis. Okay, he's going to make a left. After he makes that left, I'm going to pull up around you.
You fall back.
Got it.
You're not rubbernecking, is he?
No.
Okay, so he's oblivious to us.
Okay, it's all you now, partner.
Okay, I'm going to take the lead. You follow me.
Surveillance can be tricky business. A volatile spouse, guilty or not, can be a dangerous thing. And once the gig is up, the game is over.
I was following a dirty cop and completely blew it. He evaded me and then came up behind me, and when I stopped, he got out of the car and came up to confront me, and he said, "What are you doing following me?" I said, "I'm not following you." He goes, "Then why do you have a file folder with my name on it sitting on the front seat?"
Are you buying a phone?
Right behind him.
And the money shot takes on a whole new meaning for Paul Baresi. Cheaters in Hollywood don't stand a chance under the watchful eyes of investigators Danno Hanks and Paul Baresi.
Paul, take a lead there. You're in the right-hand lane, I take it.
Yeah, I'm coming up on a red light.
Right now we're making sure that we switch off vehicles on a regular basis so the guy, if he's looking at his rear view mirror, he doesn't see the same car all the time. We don't have a tracking device on the vehicle, so we're just doing an eyeball surveillance.
The Backstreet investigators have perfected their surveillance technique when it comes to tailing a suspected cheating spouse.
Get over to the right.
He's moving he's going into the shopping center. I'm gonna go let this car pass. They try to stay back quite a bit, as far back as you can, or drive in the blind spot. But for the most part, you could, if you wanted to, for most people, drive right behind them and they'll never notice you. I got them in my rear camera.
That's not true when you're following a celebrity.
A lot of them have their own personal security, and they're mainly looking out for paparazzi. So, you know, we try to find situations where it's not going to be a normal paparazzi trail. We try to get them where they believe they have some measure of privacy, and we're very low-key, and we lay back, and we don't show any signs of cameras around, because they will pick up on that. But it makes it more expensive, and it makes our bill higher, too.
Okay, it looks like the subject is moving into this parking lot where the coffee shop is.
Okay, I got you.
I'm right behind you. I'm going to lay back and try to get a shot of him when he gets out of the car.
The important thing is to just keep your cool, to be able to blend in when you're doing a surveillance. When I'm not working, I can be a stark raving maniac. You know, all Italians have high blood pressure. But when I'm working, I'm very cool. No kidding. No kidding.
Okay, Paul, I'm rolling on video. Are you getting stills?
Roger that. The body language is something you have to read. Now, when two people are together that shouldn't be together, you wait for them to be engaging one another. And that's the perfect opportune time to raise the camera and snap it. I can just raise it up and click and bring it down. And I've never been caught yet.
Once I've got him framed in the shot, I'm just going to lay the camera up on the dash and not pay attention to it. Because as an item that's just laying on a dashboard, most people don't pay attention to it. Right now on videotape, I've got proof that he is meeting with another woman, and obviously on the video, they're being pretty chummy, and he's supposed to be at work. So I pretty much already have the deal sealed. The money shot.
Private investigators Paul Baresi and Danno Hanks are reviewing the results of a recent investigation.
You look here, you got a real good shot of him getting out of his car, so there's no question that it's him. When we are assigned to basically find out what's going on in a subject's life, and especially in a cheating situation, the client needs some sort of visual proof. They want photographs or audio tape or videotape.
Every week, the tabs give us proof that another celebrity is cheating. But are the stars really more likely to stray?
I don't think they're a lot different than any other person. The difference is they're under a microscope. You know, I'm sure there's just as much cheating going on in Podunk, Iowa as there is in Hollywood, but nobody's watching Podunk, Iowa.
Baresi's a little more cynical about things.
Those people who are respected and revered, who clothe themselves in a certain dignity, but behind closed doors, they're bigger scumbags than this former porn star could ever be. They're always the first one, for some reason, to criticize me for what I've done with my life. And so that's why I take a special interest in showing their true colors.
Trust is a tough thing to win in Hollywood. And although they have the trust of their clients, Baresi says it falls far from friendship.
Remember all of the rumors that were disseminated about Tom Cruise being gay? Well, you don't hear them anymore because I put that fire out for him. Did Tom Cruise call me up and say, hey, nice job, Paul, give me a little bonus? No. I got a $5,000 check. His attorney probably got $1 million out of that. Am I bitter? Do I look bitter? I got a couple where they were kissing.
Look over here. That's the money shot, pal.
That's what I'm saying right there.
That's a lip lock right there. So I think we got what the client needs on this one.
Thanks. Now that you know what I did, you don't need me to explain it. And a lot of times we're like the odd couple, you know? But that's okay, because it helps us. The devil's advocate sometimes is important to have around.
Hey, go ahead and go.
Danno, please be quiet now for a second.
I didn't associate with myself with him because I wanted a buddy. I wanted somebody who was effective at doing what he does. And he certainly has a way of working the streets and getting people to give up information to him.
I don't think I've known any investigator in the world who has been involved in so many different things as Danno.
I found out, and this is like from 31 years in the business, if a wife or girlfriend suspects that their significant other is cheating on them, they are. Women know. You can't lie to your wife. They know. So that should be a message to all guys out there. Don't cheat. You will get caught.